Ever heard of a nickname so embarrassing it makes grown men cringe? Or a kicker so legendary he outshone quarterbacks for the MVP? From a sneaky chip inside the football to a trade so outrageous it left fans gasping, these are the most bizarre things you didn't know about the NFL. First, I bet you didn't know that the NFL has a tradition of humiliating the last pick in the draft. Each year, being the last pick earns you one of the most embarrassing nicknames imaginable, Mr. Irrelevant. These guys train their entire lives and wait days to get drafted, just to go up on stage and be publicly humiliated. That's not fair. Keeping the irrelevant tradition going, with the 262nd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the 49ers selected Brock Purdy, a quarterback from Iowa State. But an even more humiliating incident happened when a female college athlete was given the opportunity to try out for the NFL as a kicker. She posted YouTube videos of her drilling field goals from long range, and NFL scouts decided that they wanted to get a close look at what she was capable of. It was one of the most anticipated auditions in NFL history because no one knew what to expect. Unfortunately, Lauren Silberman completely choked on national television. She attempted 2 kicks, one went 19 yards and one went 13 yards. Silberman grabbed her leg and blamed a quad injury, but the damage was already done. People started laughing at this, even some pro-female kickers were face-palming. Now this next one is even more crazy. In 1999, the New Orleans Saints traded every single pick they had for one very unique player. The backstory is so ridiculous that ESPN even made a hilarious magazine cover with that player and Saints head coach Mike Ditka together because of the lengths that were taken. New Orleans' draft that year consisted of 6 total picks, but it gets crazier. One of those picks was already the number 12 overall spot in the draft. But that wasn't high enough to get the player they wanted. So, New Orleans traded all 6 picks and a first and third rounder for the next draft to Washington for just the number 5 overall pick. Then, the Saints drafted Ricky Williams, a running back. People lose their minds when running backs go in the first round these days. Could you imagine trading your entire draft for one? As expected, this ended horribly as the Saints went 3-13 that year and Mike Ditka was fired after the season. Up next, Green Bay Packers fans have waited nearly a whole lifetime to get season tickets. Literally. The current wait list for these tickets is over 140,000 people, and only 70 to 100 new tickets are handed out each year. So some of these fans have waited over 50 years to get a hold of these precious tickets. At that rate, you'd have a better chance of actually playing in the NFL. Next thing that you might not have known is that the NFL has the craziest fans in all of sports. Seriously, you've got people bathing in public before games, people turning their houses into shrines for their team. I mean, hell, one guy even spent an entire week making a Peyton Manning cornfield. But the wildest fans of them all are the Bills fans, because the Bills Mafia isn't just crazy, they're flat out dangerous. After the Bills won the AFC East Championship, fans stormed the field and then ripped the goalpost out of the ground. Jesus, those fans were committing crimes. Now, if you're a diehard NFL fan, you know that kickers don't get the credit they deserve. It's not easy rocketing field goals with so much pressure, but one kicker was so good that he won the NFL MVP award. I'm dead serious. The year 1982 marked the only time that an NFL kicker has ever won the league's Most Valuable Player award. Mark Mosley was the kicker for the Washington Redskins and had drilled an impressive 20 out of 21 attempted field goals for his team. The 1982 season was a weird one for the NFL due to a player strike. Teams only played 9 games, and some players sat out the entire season in protest. So Mosley was voted the best of the remaining bunch. Kickers probably don't deserve MVP awards, that's a little extreme, but a good kicker is vital to an NFL's team's success. But I'm sure you didn't know when the NFL went a little bit too crazy with their pre-game shows. Take the Denver Broncos, for example. They kick off every home game by having their skydiving team drop down onto the field. Or how about the Seattle Seahawks, who are trying to gouge their fans' eyes out with an actual Seahawk that they release into the stadium? But then there's the Tennessee Titans, who have, without a doubt, one of the most dangerous pre-game shows I've ever seen because they like to cap off the national anthem by having military helicopters fly right over the field. Watch as we slow down this video and the helicopters pass right beneath what appears to be a cable of some sort stretched across the stadium. They went under that cable. Whoever hit that cable, especially the helicopter, more likely to crash. Man, that chopper almost sent people to heaven. Next in the NFL, dunking a football is strictly illegal, and it's all because of this guy right here, 6'7" tight end Jimmy Graham. See, in college, Jimmy played a little bit of football and basketball, but ultimately decided to go to the NFL, where his basketball talent came back to bite him. Because during his first few seasons, Jimmy started celebrating every touchdown catch by dunking on the goalpost. Until one day, he dunked a little too hard. Yeah, Jimmy dunked so hard he destroyed the goalpost. So just a few months later, the NFL made a brand new rule that banned dunking. Did you know that until 1934, the shape of the NFL football was completely different? It was a lot rounder and didn't have points on the end like today. The reason the shape was changed was so quarterbacks could get a better grip and the football could be thrown further. One downfall of the reshaping was that drop kicks became a lot more difficult and are practically obsolete in today's game. They put so much work into catering a football for the quarterbacks, and somehow it still wasn't up to the standards of Tom Brady. Even with knowledge of Brady's scandal, he's still considered the greatest player of all time. Now this one is just crazy because it's actually illegal to say Super Bowl. Let me explain. Back in 1969, the NFL officially trademarked the phrase Super Bowl, which means any commercial use of the term by anyone outside of the NFL is strictly illegal. That's why commercials always refer to the Super Bowl as the big game. And it might sound ridiculous because it is, but the NFL's not playing around. Because in 2008, a church in Indianapolis decided to host a Super Bowl party where you could buy a ticket and there'd be food for anyone that came. Well, the NFL got wind of their party and immediately shut it down by sending out a cease and desist letter to the church, saying it was illegal to charge people to attend and they couldn't call it a Super Bowl party. Man, no one's safe from the NFL. Another thing you didn't know about the NFL is that penalty flags used to be deadly. See, in 1999, offensive tackle Orlando Brown was just doing his job, blocking another 350-pound man from getting to his quarterback, when all of a sudden a referee threw a penalty flag that flew directly into Orlando's eye, causing him to go partially blind and completely derailing his career. He had to sit out the next 3 years, but Orlando Brown had that dog in him because after the incident, not only did he manage to fix part of his vision and revive his career, but he also sued the NFL and won, walking away with over $15 million. Damn. And finally, we need to talk about the fact that NFL balls have computer chips inside them. See, in 2016, the NFL wanted to upgrade their game. They saw sports leagues around the world implementing technology to make their games better, like tennis and basketball with their replay systems. So the NFL implemented the computer chip, but for the purpose of tracking movement. But unfortunately, the tag just didn't really work. It was buggy, the tracking wasn't accurate, and no one really trusted it over the referees. So everyone kind of just forgot about it until 2023. It was a Ravens versus Bengals game all tied up in the fourth quarter, and the Ravens were at the 1-yard line with a chance to secure the lead when this quarterback tried to sneak a touchdown. Now, he ended up not even getting close. I mean, that was pretty obvious. But for whatever reason, the NFL decided to clarify that in the craziest way possible, tweeting out, "According to the chip in the football, the closest the ball got to the end zone was 0.6 yards from the goal line." This was the first time that a functioning computer chip was confirmed to be in the ball, and people lost their minds. There's a chip in the football? Why did we not know that before? It's a chip in the ball. Honestly though, I think it's a good thing.